And a very happy Tuesday to you at 12:06 in the West. It's the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wings in Culver City.
John, the changing of the guard is complete at the L.A. County Board of Supervisors. Catherine Barger's term as chair is over.
Quite frankly.
And in the chair spot for the third time is Hilda Solis.
Wow, that's amazing.
Isn't she supposed to be running for Congress again?
Yes, she is termed out. This is her last year on the Board of Supervisors, and she's going to run for one of these newly created districts and go back to Washington because nobody in politics ever retires.
Quite frankly.
And the rumor is that Ricardo Lara, the state's insurance commissioner, wants to replace her on the Board of Supervisors.
He has no chance.
I'm very kind of sketchy.
Then again, we elected him twice statewide, so that's really on us.
Yeah, you can only blame him so much.
Like, okay, so let's say we give everyone a pass the first time because we really wanted to elect an openly gay statewide official regardless of their qualifications. Why did we do it the second time?
That's a very good question. But as they say, Randy, don't hate the player, hate the game. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. Well, if you go to your local mall, one of the things that you're going to see this time of year is Santa Claus sitting there at the North Pole with Mrs. Claus nearby as child after child gets up on Santa's lap and tells Santa what they want for Christmas. Now, what the kids want is very different than what the parents want. The kids may want video games, they want new bikes, they want new toys. I don't know, whatever it is, Tickle Me Elmo, that's hot right now for all the kids as they're putting their Christmas list together.
You got to update your references.
It's been a while since Tickle Me Elmo was hot.
Try Labubu's.
Okay. Well, one thing we do know, Randy, is that a lot of the parents are getting alarm clocks for Christmas.
That's because the new work requirements have started to be in effect for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program known as SNAP countrywide, known as CalFresh in California. And to explain what these changes mean and how they'll affect low-income people in California, Fox 11 brought out Ed Laskos.
He is the man for the job.
Enough already.
But in true Ed Laskos fashion, even though he is typically known as a crime reporter, sometimes the crime just follows him no matter where he goes.
And it's on, like Donkey Kong.
Let's go to Fox 11 News in Los Angeles. You can subscribe to their YouTube channel by searching for Fox 11 Los Angeles.
Millions of SNAP recipients or people who use food stamps nationwide are going to have to make changes to maintain their current benefits. The program helps low-income families buy groceries. To break it down,
you know you can use SNAP on Instacart if it's for a grocery store?
Oh, come on.
Well, what if you need delivery? You're busy or you're, in a wheelchair.
I'm very happy in radio, but if I ever went to work for the government, I'd want to be put in charge of this because I can give these people all kinds of great advice. I've seen the videos of them at the Costco with the flatbed filled with food, complaining that the cuts to SNAP is going to make the family go hungry. Well, if they want to cut it in half without any great big impact on their family, they can start by just removing anything that has Little Debbie's name on it.
You can also use your SNAP benefits at farmers markets, although I don't think that many people take anyone up on that.
No, because that's all fresh fruits and vegetables, and they have zero interest in that. The only fruits they have in their cart are on the Trix box.
To break it down, let's go live to Fox 11's Ed Laskos and Van Nuys with more on this story.
Wait, why are you sending to Ed to Van Nuys?
Oh, come on. You know hilarity will ensue.
With more on this story, Ed.
And Susan, some big time.
I already hear it.
It's almost as if the mayor's having a press conference.
This is not a story that has anything to do with crime. This is a typical, here are changes in the government. But they sent Ed Laskos to Van Nuys, and what do you hear?
And Susan, some big-time changes coming to the SNAP program, and a lot of the folks who are out here tonight shopping using their EPD cards to buy groceries.
I wonder if he's in front of that Food for Less next to the Van Nuys Airport, because that is an interesting place.
You could hear some planes landing in the background, too.
cards to buy groceries say, yeah, they're aware of these new changes and they're going to do their best to meet the qualifications.
Ed, get out of the way.
What is the Food for Less getting knocked off during the live shot?
Having to look for work, having to be trained for work just to keep those federal budget benefits rolling as some LA City Fire Department paramedic crews roll by here in Van Nuys. Anyway, let's get to it.
That's a pro right there. He adapted to that situation.
The man doesn't even blink.
Van Nuys. Anyway, let's get to it. To the video we go. Check it. Talking about the grocery shoppers here armed with their EBT cards, aware of the new changes. You know how it works, right? The feds use that SNAP program. It replaces the former food stamps program for millions of low-income folks.
I ever tell you about the time I tried to apply for food stamps?
No.
So this was when I was working at the other radio station, and that news story had come out that people were using those cards to go to pot stores, to go to strip clubs, and to go to casinos because they came with a cash benefit. And at the time, I was making about $300 a week because I couldn't work more than 20 hours at KFI, and they would only pay me $15 an hour. I don't think those rates have gone up, by the way. Anyway, I thought, well, you know, I eat a lot of fast food, and every fast food place now has a We Take EBT card. What if I can get me one of these things? First thing I'll tell you is when you go to the welfare office, every car that was in that parking lot was a nicer car than mine, and everyone had the brand new iPhone that was sitting there waiting for their benefits. So then I go to the window. I explain my situation. I'm a part-time radio station board op. Look at me. I need food assistance. And they said, you make too much money. If you made $1,100, we could help you with a $600 a month benefit. But because you make $1,200 a month, you make too much money for food stamps. The way these programs work, there is actually a massive financial incentive to be a deadbeat.
And when you look at the videos that are uploaded online from the people complaining about the cuts, it all makes sense.
The feds use that SNAP program. It replaces the former food stamps program for millions of low-income folks. So the feds send that money to the states like California. California funnels that money down to the EBT cards and the
well, except for all the ones that get stolen through fraud, because you remember Gavin Newsom picked a contractor for the EBT cards that did not have chip protection, so people's cards were getting stolen and skimmed and all the money getting drained immediately.
And this is different from EDD, which also had over $20 billion stolen.
That's true. And Johnny, where did a lot of that money go?
Las Vegas.
And did they tip with it?
No, they did not.
Cheapskates.
So the feds send that money to the states like California. California funnels that money down to the EBT cards, and the folks use those EBT cards to go out and buy their groceries. But starting today...
Or Pizza Hut. Because, you know, food deserts.
Pizza Hut, KFC, McDonald's, Taco Bell, Baker's.
You know, it's funny.
You name it.
There used to be kind of a hard and fast rule that these fast food places who, you know, it's a two-way subsidy. They're also getting government benefits because people are using them there. Walmart, the same thing. A lot of these places pay people so little they're on food stamps, and then they use the food stamps there. But the rule used to be that you could use the EBT card if you went in person. And then in Van Nuys, there was a Burger King that decided to get it going in the drive-thru, and that drive-thru was busier than I ever saw it before.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, you cannot use it at In-N-Out Burger in most Chick-fil-A locations, correct?
I believe that is true. A lot of the places that have it are big national chains that have these national contracts because they probably did a lot of lobbying. If you look at the breakdown of who is the recipient of the most money when it comes to SNAP benefits, most of it goes to Frito-Lay / Pepsi. Because they own almost all of the other chips and cracker and cookie brands and so many other things you don't realize are all owned by Frito-Lay.
Okay, if you have a fast food fix and you don't want to end up on YouTube, Chick-fil-A or In-N-Out.
But starting today, December 1st, those new changes.
Also, In-N-Out, pretty affordable, even with all the inflation.
That's true.
But starting today, December 1st, those new changes, those new requirements mean you've got to look for work, you've got to go out and volunteer, certain hours, number of hours each month to keep the benefits going. Otherwise, those benefits could be cut sharply, maybe only 3 months worth of benefits over a 3-year period. That's
Wait, so they're making them volunteer too?
Yes, that can count as your work requirement.
Okay, not one library book is going to be put back in the right place.
That's a big drop-off, and you bet big changes like that bringing some big-time reaction. Listen to some of this.
I don't think it's fair that he do that, but...
And you were saying you think it's going to hurt a lot of people?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Very earnest discussion going on here.
Ed has a natural talent to find the absolute best men on the street. And women on the street.
Definitely it's going to hurt a lot of people because you never know. You know what? Especially now that we're in the holidays and everybody wants to have a good dinner and everything. And
What? Aren't people hungry all 12 months of the year?
Yeah, I think she's thinking about the celebration.
that we're in the holidays and everybody wants to have a good dinner and everything. And if you don't give it to them, it's going to be really hard.
It's very sudden and it will affect people negatively really quickly. And a lot of people don't have the resources to obtain these new skills. So if it's possible to keep it or...
You know, we can eat real cheap and inflation hasn't really hit it hard. And John, you'll back me up on this. Trader Joe's.
Okay, let's go back to what he said there. They don't have the skills to be employed in any way, shape, or form.
Yes.
To obtain these new skills. So if it's possible to keep it or...
Okay, why are we spending a fortune on K through 12 education if everyone is too dumb for any kind of employment at all?
Find another way to always help these people. That would be very vital.
We have found thousands and thousands of illegal use of the EBT card. We have been moving people off of SNAP. We've got almost 700,000 people, I think, we've moved off. That's the Agriculture Secretary.
Well, it's about time because everyone on planet Earth knows that these systems exist to be defrauded.
Now, that coming from the Secretary of Agriculture. She says the point here is to reduce that fraud system-wide through the entire SNAP program, saving millions of dollars over the next few years. In any event, let's break it down. Check this out. Here's some of those.
And the whole system, which, again, I never understood why it had to be an EBT card, because you have to have a specific vendor that then is getting money and they're getting transaction fees. And what do you know? It was a bank that was connected to Gavin Newsom. Shouldn't it be simpler in 2025 to know exactly who needs the help and to, Venmo it to them? How hard is this?
I was watching an interview with Elon Musk over the weekend where he was talking about his time at Doge. And he was talking about how difficult it is to cut fraud and waste and abuse from the government. And he said, because when you identify fraud, you identify waste, that's not how it reads on the spreadsheet. It doesn't say, okay, we're spending $2 billion a year on fraud over here. It says you're spending $2 billion to save the pandas. And then that money is given to these phony baloney organizations, and all of it is taken by people who are politically connected, and they live off of that money, and they live a very good life off of that money. So when you try to pull the money from those phony baloney organizations, they cry like mad, and the public assumes because it's for the pandas, oh my God, how dare you take money from this wonderful source? And the fact that the money is being stolen is something that gets lost in translation.
In any event, let's break it down. Check this out. Here's some of those new requirements that you must meet. That age is raised from 54 to 64 years old. And here's the thing. You've got to work. You've got to be out training for work, finding a job, or volunteering at least 80 hours per month to keep those benefits running. If you're new to...
So 20 hours a week?
Okay, so that means you go to your local junior college and you pick up a skill. If you don't want to work.
To keep those benefits running. If you're new to SNAP, well, you've got to meet these requirements ASAP. And if you're already on SNAP, the feds say, well, you've got to meet these requirements when you're reclassified again. You come into the office and talk to the folks dealing with all of that. But one other situation here is the pending lawsuit. As you know, California, along with almost 24 other states filing suit against the Trump administration, the California Attorney General Rob Bonta out saying, claiming it is illegal for the feds to do this to restrict those SNAP benefits from many individuals. So while it plays out in the courts, the folks out here, ladies, are saying they're aware of the new requirements and they're going to do their best to try to meet them as best they can, because the bottom line is a lot of folks need that money to keep coming in, simply to just go out, as they've been telling us here tonight, just go out and buy their groceries every month.
It's such a weird thing, and it's a very California thing where if you're under a certain income threshold, you get your food stamps. You also get your Medi-Cal, which means all of your health insurance, that's free. So if you actually decide you want to go into the workforce, there's a massive gap between all the benefits you get from being poor to the amount of money you have to make to just get your head above water, because now you have to pay for all those things.
If you read between the lines here, what they're describing is a situation very similar to the safety ambassadors, which is that you have this underclass of people that's marginally employable with an awful education and very few skills. And if you don't pay them off to play nice, they're going to end up robbing you. So you have to just pay them off, even though you know a certain amount of the money is being stolen and used for purposes that were not intended. It's just easier and cheaper and better to do that, and everyone's happy if you just keep the gravy train moving and you don't ask too many questions.
Yes. Ed, I just have a quick question. That screen graphic that you put up, what is the age limit? What does that refer to? Is it like a cap on who qualifies?
Apparently, that's exactly what it is, Susan. It was lowered, and now in the 50s, and now they're saying you've got to be up to like 64 years old. That's what the feds are saying. But, you're asking questions.
So if you were 54, you didn't have to work to get your food stamps?
How is that logical?
This is also a certain class of people that find ways to claim disability to qualify early for pensions or qualify early for Social Security.
Oh, that is the biggest scam on planet Earth. Talk to people who work at the VA. And there are people in the military who are in combat roles who were injured in the military. And God bless them. They should be taken care of, and we don't do enough for those people. But then ask them, well, how about the accountants who are claiming disability? How about the HR people who are claiming disability? That is the biggest scam on planet Earth.
There you go, Johnny. That's all the latest updates to the SNAP program.
If you want to weigh in on any of this, give us a call at 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. It's the John Phillips Show. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. The work requirements for SNAP benefits are kicking in, and the recipients don't like it. What say you at 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222, 800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, if you missed yesterday's show and you want to find out what you missed out on, that's easy to do.
All you got to do is search for The John Phillips Show wherever you get your podcasts. That could be the Apple Podcasts app, iHeart, Spotify. Search for The John Phillips Show. Hit subscribe. You could download all the episodes. You could do a Google on the YouTube. You can get the free KABC app. You can get the free KSFO app. Get the free KMJ Now app, because we're on that station Saturdays at 2. There are so many different ways to listen live to our radio stations and download all the podcasts, and you too will be smarter than the average California voter.
No, I don't know enough to give you any good information, but good luck finding someone who does.
And that's why we are where we are. All right. The deadline is here. If you want to accept SNAP benefits from the government, you better have a job. You better be in school. You better be volunteering your time. Otherwise, no little Debbies for you. What say you at 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. Let's go to Dave in L.A. Dave, hello.
Hey, guys, thanks for taking the call. Yeah, this is insane. I mean, I've got a stepson that's disabled, 100% disabled. He gets $120 a month in food stamps. And the amount of money that we're spending on people that don't that are able-bodied is insane. I know for sure that people that are in the country illegally get food stamps through their children. So we're spending all this money, and no one ever asks about it. I think the whole system is going to collapse eventually. I heard of something called the Cloward and Piven strategy, where you get so many people on the government dole that it just collapses. And if Trump can't get this done, no one's going to be able to get it done. We're all doomed.
I read in the newspaper that nationwide, 1 out of 8 is on SNAP benefits, which is completely pathetic.
Yeah, I've worked my whole entire life. I've paid tens of thousands of dollars in taxes. I'm an out-of-work mortgage guy driving around Lyft, and I can't qualify because I make too much money. It's just insanity.
Well, what's wild is if you look at the unemployment numbers, this isn't the Great Depression. The unemployment number is, what is it, something like 4%, somewhere in that neighborhood? So you're talking about
full
essentially what is close to full employment. And you still have people who are on these benefits. And what you just described is what a lot of people I know, how they live their lives. Where, yeah, in the old days, you had one job and you stayed there until you were 65. Then you got your gold watch and you retired. You had your pension and you had your Social Security and you golfed until you died. But now what seems to happen is people have 1, 2, 3 jobs where they have side hustles and they put it all together in a way that makes it work for them. Not only does it diversify your income, so if one thing goes away, you still have other gigs that are there, but it allows you to have more control over your schedule so you don't have one boss in your face telling you when you have to work and when you don't have to work and those sorts of things. If you want a job and you have ambition and you have some degree of education, you shouldn't have a problem being able to find something. It may not be exactly what you want, but there is employment that exists out there if you're looking for it. And I think for a lot of these people, they're living a very comfortable life with the taxpayers picking up the tab, and they just don't want any changes.
Once you give benefits, you can never take them away. That's why the Obamacare situation is very tenuous for the Republican Party, because they're going to take that benefit away. They're going to pay for it at the polls.
Sure. If you're used to getting something for free and all of a sudden you have to pay for it, that is a shock to the system. Remember when everyone thought that radio would be dead after Howard Stern moved to Sirius? And all these Howard Stern fans were getting ready to jump with him to Sirius until they found out they had to pay for it. And they go, now, wait a minute. I've been listening to this show for years, and I've been listening to it for free. Now, all of a sudden, you want me to pay for it? And 75% of them didn't go along with them. They stayed in terrestrial radio because they didn't want to pay for something that they were getting for free.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks for the call, sir. Let's go to David in El Cerrito. David, hello.
Well, hello. It's about time. We got a president that's going to take care of business, and it's been years since this situation is getting looked at, and thank God for Mr. Trump. And if they want to take him to court on that, I'm 100% backing Trump. And I think the majority of people see it that have to pay their bills every month. And then you have these clowns. And there are people out there that need help. I agree with that portion of it. But when you have people driving in their Cadillacs and going into stores and picking up their whatever, and I had an incident where I was over at Costco, and this fine-looking lady with a beautiful purse and jewelry and everything else, and I didn't realize it. I don't know too much about this EBT or whatever. She's trying to get cash or whatever and paying. I don't know nothing really that much about it. But thank God we have Trump in office. And I'm telling you, people, wake up, especially here in California. That's what
all right. Thank you for the call. I appreciate it. I'll say one other thing about this, too. I think the welfare state is part of the reason that we have so much social dysfunction going on around us. Because I don't know about you, if I didn't have a job to go to, if I didn't have something productive to do every day, I would develop bad habits real fast. Real fast.
That was COVID.
That was COVID. How many of us started drinking excessively during COVID?
I didn't start, but it definitely got worse.
How many of us gained weight during COVID?
Everybody.
Yes. It's not good for you to wake up and have nothing to do. It's part of the reason why when people retire too early, they regret that decision. Because you think, okay, I'm going to retire early. I'm going to go on cruises and I'm going to buy an RV and I'm going to go to all the national parks and my grandkids are going to want to spend a ton of time with me. And I'm going to take cooking classes and I'm going to take art classes and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And let me tell you, as someone who lives around a bunch of retirees, that's not usually how it actually happens. Most of the time, if you retire too young and you have nothing going on, happy hour starts real early. That's how it happens. It's not healthy. All right, let's go back to the phones and welcome Clifton in Vallejo. Clifton, hello.
John and Randy, top of the day to you guys, man. How was your Thanksgiving? And I'm going to explain to you how my Thanksgiving went, okay? So how was your Thanksgiving first? I want to hear both of you explanations about how you interacted with your family and how your family interacted with you. And then I'm going to give you my perspective about the whole situation.
Well, mine was a whole lot like COVID. I ate too much and drank too much.
I was in Santa Fe, and it was fabulous.
You guys are nuts, okay? Well, anyway, I went down to my daughter's house, I'm going to paint the picture for you. She graduated from San Jose State with a communication degree, and now she's a dispatcher with NASA down in Mountain View, okay? So, first time I'm at our house, you understand what I'm saying? We bring all the goodies and bring all of that, me and my wife and all that kind of stuff. But the thing that is about this generation right now, I want some grandkids. Her boyfriend, who was with her there, his mom wants grandkids. Why y'all not making grandkids, okay? Why do I have a little poodle mixed dog that y'all calling y'all son?
I feel like I'm partly to blame here.
What is the mentality about that? Okay? I don't get it. Is it coming from the colleges? Is it coming just a different perspective of the way our culture should be? No. You need to pre-crow. You know what I'm saying? Make some babies. That's it.
Now, when you were raising your daughter, did you explain the birds and the bees?
I'm quite sure she didn't figure that out. She's 28 years old right now. If she didn't figure that out by now, I don't know what to tell her. But a woman is not going to make a baby poodle. A woman is going to make a human being. He's going to make a male, or he's going to make a female. That's it. That's your only job. So my point is right now is why did I do all the sacrifices and stuff like that? You understand what I'm saying? I sacrificed to raise you guys and give y'all the best education and to do everything I could for you to make your life better than mine was. And I expect you to do the same thing for my grandkids. But y'all ain't making no babies.
Clifton from Vallejo, everyone. Thank you so much for the call. I appreciate it.
Never disappoints.
Well, I wasn't expecting that. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. Let's go to Norma in Pittsburgh. Norma, hello.
Hello. Can you hear me? I'm in my car driving. So I want to make a comment that I believe that the EBT, CalFresh, whatever it's called in California, should be administered like the WIC program. The WIC program, it tells you what you can buy. You can buy milk, you can buy whatever that stuff they feed babies, formula, you can buy fruit. With the EBT, the way it's run now, you go into the grocery stores and you see a lot of the young parents or even the older people that are buying groceries that got all this junk food, empty carbs, non-nutritious. So if they change the program like the WIC program, maybe we'll have some more healthier Americans. I doubt it, but, anyway, that's my comment. It's an abuse program.
Well, thank you for the call, and I think you're right. My guess is if you were only allowed to buy fresh fruits and vegetables and meat and rice and beans and milk and those sorts of things, a lot of people just wouldn't even apply for it because they have no interest in those items. Let's go to Ralph and Whittier. Ralph, hello.
Hi, I understand your guest after the 1 o'clock hour is going to be CeCe Woods.
Yes.
Is that? I look forward to listening to what she has to say, and it kind of, the basis of her stuff kind of touches on the conversation you've been having regarding the waste of taxpayers' money. And I think that some of the material she's been putting out in the last, 6, 7 articles on this similar subject she's written on over the last, 4 or 5 weeks, they all have to do with basically one-party rule and how it can translate into the waste of taxpayer dollars. The other thing that might come up is maybe a question regarding why hasn't the DA's office done anything about what she's going to talk about. I don't believe, knowing him, it's a lack of wherewithal. I believe he lacks the resources. And I believe if you were to sit down with her, because she could probably spend a couple of hours going over the material she's got, if you started looking at it, you'd realize that the investigation that would be necessary would go way beyond LA County and would require resources that only the feds have. And even if Nathan had the resources, you run the risk of Bonta stepping in like he did in the Kuehl-Giggins investigation and taking it over and just dragging his feet and letting it run over a couple of years, and then it just dies out. The other thing that might upset some people is that what she has to say with what she's been looking into demonstrates that Alex Villanueva was right. And there are some people that are just not going to like it.
Thank you for the call. We're going to get to that later on. That's a little off topic from where we are right now, but thank you. Let's go to Ethan in Fremont. Ethan, hello.
Hi, John and Randy.
Hi there.
Yeah, with the government, I think any conservative will say, hey, we really despise the government bureaucracy. It just slows things down. But we're also, as we look at SNAP benefits and also Medicaid benefits that were part of the big, beautiful bill, we're requiring more government bureaucracy to attain these benefits. So what side are we on? Are we for more government bureaucracy, or are we against government bureaucracy?
Well, the government has to be able to verify that the money is being spent for the proper purposes. If the money is being stolen, which is what the case would be.
It already does that.
Right. So I think what they're trying to do is prevent that from happening.
And what they're doing with the Medicaid, recipients is they're requiring twice a year check-ins. So we're creating more bureaucracy.
Well, you have to have someone looking at it to make sure that it's not being stolen. Because if you have money that's being stolen and you're basically relying on the honor system, you're going to continue to be fleeced. Is that what you want?
we want people to go about it the right way. And whether are you a pro-government bureaucrat or are you an anti-bureaucrat?
Well, right now the money's being stolen. I don't want the money being stolen.
From who?
So if you're going to have the program, you have to have the safeguards to make sure that the money is being used for the right things and not being stolen and used for the wrong things.
So who is stealing it? Individuals or
Yes.
stealing it?
Well, the companies benefit from the individual stealing it because the individual stealing it then have more money to buy products from the companies. That's part of the reason that everyone's looking the other way. Everyone benefits but the taxpayers.
If you look at Medicaid
Okay.
fraud,
Thank you for the call, sir. I appreciate it. He asked me a question, I answered the question, and he moves on to something irrelevant.
We got time for one more.
All right, let's go to Morris in downtown LA. Morris, hello.
Yeah, I guess you people are just waking up. This has been going on for over 60 years like this. All you hear the politicians, we're going to go for the homeless, social services for the little babies. Where does this start from? In 1980, until 1980, it was against the law to shack up in a relationship, rent an apartment. A landlord could refuse rental to an unmarried couple. Then they changed that. And what do you think happens now? They got so many parents, if you can call them that, they're not married. The little babies are cute. Then they become hoodlums, join gangs. It's out of control. They join gangs because they don't get enough money from social services. And all of this is one social service program after another. You got immigrants collecting now health care. Why are we paying for the immigrants? They broke the law coming here. Why we have to support them? Sanctuary City. All right, people are mad against ICE. Why am I mad against ICE? Because they're taking illegals off the street because LA City and County let the ICE into prisons to arrest the real criminals. So it's out of control. This has been going on forever. And,
all right. Thank you for the call, sir. We're out of time. The Fix California hour is next. Don't you go anywhere.